Greetings, beautiful people. This is SB Favor Thinking Podcast, and my name is SB Favor. How are you doing today? It is November 3rd, Tuesday, 2020. Yes, it is election day, and I hope that you all participated in the voting process today. This evening, we will look forward to the result. Rebecca, how are you doing today?
Hi, SB. I am doing awesome. Today is a great day. It's going to be a great time of the year. So, good thing you had told everybody to get out there and vote.
That's right.
So,
that's right.
Having a great day today.
Awesome, awesome. Our topic for this episode is the benefits of prayer with a positive projection. In these times that we are living in, so many people are going through different things, and we all need to remember that prayer is a very, very strong component, should be a very strong component in our life so that we can receive strength and peace and function the way we need to function with a focus. I always mention the word focus because everything begins and ends with how you think. So that's why I always talk about the word focus. You have to have a focus in order to know what you should be doing and what you should not be doing. So we're going to talk about the power of prayer, the benefits of prayer, and the importance of having a positive projection, because prayer can help you to keep a positive projection, and prayer can help you to have a focus, and like I said, to have peace and to have strength. So, Rebecca, what are the benefits of prayer to you personally?
Okay, so prayer to me personally is, allows me to have a personal experience with God. I turn to prayer because I want to have a personal relationship with God, similar to a friendship or a marriage. If I value a friendship, and I do value friendships, I value family members, I want to keep that relationship going. So prayer allows me to participate in the works of the Lord. Prayer gives me power over evil. Prayer keeps me humble. And prayer grants me access to God. Prayer gives me strength. And at a time as this right now, as you know, the passing of my son, prayer is fulfilling many emotional needs right now that I have. So that's why I pray.
That's awesome. That's a beautiful thing, because prayer is everything you just said. Personally, to me as well, each day that we live, we have a responsibility to be thankful first and foremost, because God provides all things. And a lot of people believe in different religions, but guess what? It's only one God. It's only one God. The God that created nature. We're talking about that God. And I know culturally people think and believe in different things, and I'm not here to dispute that, but I just want to talk about that power and the benefits of praying in this time that we live in. For me personally, I pray daily because I know in my heart there's nobody else like God. There's nobody else that can give me strength, give me peace, give me joy, and give me what I need each day to be my best self. So that is some of the reasons why I pray. And the things that are totally out of my control, I give it to Him. I give it to Him so that I can make better decisions. I give it to Him so that I can have a different outlook on different situations. And as I mentioned earlier, keeping a positive projection, because if I project something good to happen, then it gives power to what I want to see happen. Because when you pray for something, and if you're speaking negative about the very thing that you pray for, then what do you think happens if you're speaking contrary of what you prayed for? So if you pray for something and you think about it and you project it, you foresee it happening. That's the power of prayer, because it's like a release. And the reason why I say it's a release, because when you think about something enough, you give power to it to manifest. So, I mean, it's not no magic thing or anything like that. But what I'm saying to you is that having a positive projection with prayer helps you to exercise your faith. Also, Rebecca, you mentioned that when we were talking earlier, you mentioned that praying helps you to connect to people. You mentioned something like that. How does that? What did you mean when you said that?
Well, prayer connects me to people because I think, was it when I was telling you, when I pray for people? Is that what you were trying to say?
Yeah, you were saying that, yeah, prayer can connect you to
Yeah.
people, help you to understand people, or yeah.
Yes. Prayer helps you to connect with others because it's kind of like a spark.
Mm-hmm.
Prayer is contagious. That I have to say.
Mm-hmm.
When you start praying, I have 4 nieces, and I have more than that, but 4 in particular, and I tell them, pray for 10 minutes.
Right.
Pray for 10 minutes if you can.
Mm-hmm.
And they find that when they do that,
Mm-hmm.
they want to do it the next day, and the next day,
Yeah.
and the next day, and then all of a sudden our connection begins to talk on that topic. And I hear some of them say, well, I was feeling a little, depressed about this, or I was down about that,
Mm-hmm.
or I was concerned about my finances,
Mm-hmm.
because most of them are mothers and they have families.
Right.
But they say, when I pray, I feel positive. I feel better because I know that God is in control.
Wow. That is true. That's yeah. Everything you said. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Prayer helps you to develop a relationship with God. You mentioned how you should talk to Him often. If you have a relationship with somebody, you don't want to ignore them, so you should talk to that individual often, right?
Yeah.
Prayer helps you to gain a understanding of God's loving nature. If you never talk to somebody, if you never take take time to get to know a person, how can you understand their nature? And I know some people, there's so much to learn about that when it comes to having a relationship with God, because so many people have been taught religion, right?
Yes.
So it's two different things. Another point of prayer is prayer helps you to find direction in your life. When you are uncertain about something, you can ask God for direction. And as I mentioned earlier, you can make better choices that way as well. Prayer can help you to avoid temptations, something tempting that might bring great harm to your life. It could be something that you're doing to your body, something that you're doing to others. You might have a weakness and you're tempted. God can help you to avoid temptation. Let's see. Prayer invites the Spirit of God, the Holy Spirit of God, into your life, which is, a teacher. The Spirit of God is a teacher. The Spirit of God is a helper. So when I say Holy Spirit, I'm talking about a helper, a teacher, a director, someone that can help guide your life. And when I use the word someone because God is a person. To me, God is a person. Some people, they don't see Him like He's a person. He has eyes, ears, and He's a person. You can't forget that. So, prayer has so many different components to it. And personally, I know in times of my life, I have prayed just to be a better mother, prayed to be a better friend. There's so many benefits to it. We can go on and on with this, But the positive projection part has to do with how you think, because a lot of us, unfortunately, sometimes we think the wrong things, and we have to learn how to manage our thought life with the right
Yes.
thoughts. So that's why I mentioned a positive projection, with the benefits of prayer. Also, prayer helps you to reduce stress. A lot of us deal with stress on the job, stress in marriages, relationships. Prayer helps you to reduce stress. I mean, many of us work out, do yoga, we use everything else. Why not use prayer to reduce stress? Prayer gives you a better sense of self, who you are, and as I mentioned, what you need to do. Prayer is also good for your attitude. It improves your attitude. It helps you to know how to approach and respond, and of course, how you should think about different situations. Prayer can help you to express gratitude. It can give you hope. It can help you forgive others, because a lot of us are walking around holding grudges.
Yes.
Some people don't want to talk about that, but that's real. I'm laughing because, some people say, oh, they did me wrong and I'm just not ready to forgive. How can you say you're not ready to forgive when, God forgives you, So,
Yes.
but,
Loving it.
yeah, so prayer, it's so many benefits to prayer, but my primary reason for discussing this is because we are living in some very trying times. And please ask yourself, how are you going to make it? How are you going to make it when something on a whole nother level in this country just breaks out? What are you going to do? Are you going to be filled with anxiety and fear? What are you going to do? God is greater than everything that exists, so why not pray? And when I say pray, I'm not speaking from a religious stance. I'm speaking from a spiritual stance, because prayer is a spiritual experience. So please understand the difference. And Rebecca, we're going to talk about the difference between what's spiritual versus religious. We're going to talk about that soon, because that's a topic people need to know about. So,
Espy, can I say something?
Sure, go ahead.
This is so good, and the atmosphere is truly elevated during this topic. SB said that God, has ears, eyes, right? He's a person.
That's right.
Now the difference is, right, when I had said previously, I said you have a personal relationship, like as in a friendship or as in a marriage, right? The difference between prayer and that is that person physically and visually might be there in front of you.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
You see them in the flesh, okay?
Mm-hmm.
God is here in spirit, right? So it requires faith, to believe what you don't see, but you have hope for what you're asking for. Okay? So just kind of to make a little understanding there, that when people say, well, pray to God, where's God? I don't see him, I don't hear him, and I totally get that. And you can pray when you're doing the dishes. You can pray when you're working in the warehouse. You can pray when you're driving.
Mm-hmm.
You can pray sitting down. You can pray on your knees. There's so many different ways, postures, to pray. And I just want to say that, I don't see God, but yet I don't see the wind, but I hear it.
That's right.
You hear the wind, especially now fall is approaching. And I love that autumn wind. What about you, SB? I love to hear that autumn wind. And, here in Florida, you see the palm trees kind of going left and right. And, you don't see it, but you hear it.
That's right.
And that's God. You don't see him, but he's there.
He is. And I experience God the most in the midst of nature. I could be on the beach or just driving, looking at the color of the trees. And that right there alone will just have me thinking about his presence and who he is, and wondering, like, this great person, I don't know everything about him, but I know that he's real. So why not pray? So, you mentioned there's no certain position to pray. And guess what? That is very important that you understand. You can be anywhere at any time. And sometimes you might be in an atmosphere where you can't even open your mouth. Pray in your heart. You know what I mean? I do that a lot because, when I go out to dinner, my friends, they might put their hands together at the table and they do this long prayer over their food with their hands tilted. I don't do that. I just pray in my heart. Lord, thank you. In my heart, in my mind, I pray, right? And they say to me, "You're not praying?" I said, "Yeah, I always pray over my food." But, they look at me like I'm crazy because I'm not doing the whole Catholic stance. You know what I mean?
Right, yes.
You know what I mean?
So, or the long prayer.
I don't do all that outward motion stuff. That's just not me. It's just, some people do all that outward stuff, but they don't mean nothing in their heart, right? That's a whole nother topic, though.
That's right.
But,
yes.
But,
I love that.
Yeah, but the point of what I'm saying is you can experience God anywhere. Like Rebecca said, the stance or wherever you pray, the position, you don't have to be on your knees. You can be anywhere, anytime. But we just want to encourage you to remember to pray. We just want to encourage you to remember that prayer is powerful, it's vital, it's important, and God is always available. He is a 24/7 counselor. How about that, Rebecca?
24 hours a day. And you mentioned that you prayed when you were a mother, right?
That's right.
And how many of us have prayed asking God for guidance and wisdom, or strength, perhaps, on how to discipline one of our children? And I do have to say that he hears those prayers.
Yes, he does.
And I remember having conflict sometimes, or I was struggling maybe with just things in me. And I found that after prayer, it filled me with more positivity than negativity. And I think that, I know you mentioned projection, and I don't want to go ahead of you, but, it's like when you start to feel negative, you kind of begin to forecast, and talk about your future or your future situation based on your current forecast. So if your current forecast is, I'm negative today, I'm upset, I'm depressed, I ain't got no money, I don't have a job, I can't get ahead, I take 5 steps forward and I fall back 10 times, right? It's real. It's real. This is real life, okay? But we have to learn to strive and overcome that hurdle, and prayer helps you do that. It helps you to get out of the negative to go into the positive. So when I begin to say, well, I can't take this job position because I'm not adequate. I don't have enough education. I can't speak at that seminar because I don't know how to speak, or I can't get a new friend because maybe that person's not going to like me. See, when we begin to start speaking that way, thinking that way, we start calling things forth into our future. But when I start saying, you know what, I accept me for who I am, and I love myself. So, that new friend that I'm going to meet, she's going to like me, and I'm going to like her, and we're going to be good friends. See, you begin to start shifting your thinking. And I know, for me personally, I struggled lot of low self-esteem. I struggle with a lot of lack of confidence. And I would even say that there were times when I felt I was the only one that had these particular problems. But no, I wasn't. Many mothers had situations and struggles. Many families went through hardships. When we start thinking that way, it's just a stumbling block, but we need to kind of shift.
Yes,
and
exactly.
Prayer helps us do that.
It does. And everything you said, it has everything to do with, again, a projection. Everything Rebecca just stated is a projection, a negative projection versus a positive projection. Because as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And if you think about something long enough, that's what you will become. And that is why it's important to have a positive projection. And when you incorporate prayer with your day, then you can think better, feel better, and have a better day, of course, and have more positive projections. Everything Rebecca just stated pertaining to the thought life is something that we all on different levels have experienced. And sadly, some people don't even question what's going on in their own mind. They just think, oh, that's just the way I think. No. If you're sitting around thinking all kinds of toxic, negative thoughts about everything, everybody, every situation, you need to question that. You need to question that, and you need to take a minute, and you need to pray that you can think better. It's like lifting a weight. When you lift it the first time, it's kind of heavy. But as you keep lifting and lifting and lifting and lifting that weight, it becomes lighter and lighter and lighter. You become stronger and stronger and stronger. So as you exercise the right thoughts in your life, and as you exercise the benefits of prayer, then you will see your thought life change. Because when you pray, understand that you are partaking of benefits. There are several benefits of prayer. But every time you pray, you are receiving benefits, more than one. You will start to see things in your life change if you project something different, something positive, and stay encouraged to pray. These times that we're living in, it's so important, and I cannot emphasize it enough, because what's going to happen? And I'm not saying all this to make you think fearful or anything like that. But we got to deal with reality. We have to deal with reality every single day. No house, car, or bank account is not going to save us from the craziness that's going to happen in these times that we're living in. So please understand the benefits of prayer and the power of projecting positive thoughts. We can do better if we want to do better. We do everything else. When we want to act bad, don't we know how to act bad, Rebecca?
Oh, yes, we do. Oh, yes, we do. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We do. And yes, we do. I was upset the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, I was really upset the other day. And this person, she upset me. And for some reason, it was stewing. And then I went to bed, and I woke up, and I said, God, I'm mad at her.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, I'm like, but Lord, I need to forgive her, don't I? I said, Lord, I need to forgive her.
It wasn't worth it.
And it wasn't so much, something necessarily done at me,
mm-hmm.
to attack me.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just something said. And I said, well, Lord, I can't be mad.
mm-hmm.
Take this away from me, Lord. I did. I said, God, take this away from me, because look at me stewing over this, Lord. And listen, it had to do about my grand fur baby. Because, y'all know I love my grand fur baby, And it's like, you mess with my grand fur baby, you mess with me,
Right.
And I know there's a lot of dog lovers out there. And, I don't have a dog, but every once in a while I take him.
Right.
So, I had to say, Lord, forgive me. Forgive me, and I forgive her. Lord, forgive me, Lord. And I might have to, when I see her again, I might have to give her a smile,
Absolutely. It's not worth it. The small things are not worth it.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth
it. It's not worth it.
Yeah. It's not worth it.
Fine.
Something happened to me a couple of days ago where one of my friends, they sent me a text, and out of nowhere, the text was just negative. And when I read it, I said to myself, wait a minute, hold up, what's going on here? What is this about? So I asked myself the question, should I answer or should I not? Well, if I don't answer, that's being rude, right? So I decided to answer. But when I answered, the reply was very pleasant. But on the other side, I was looking at the phone like, what in the world? I felt myself getting upset, but I said, no. I'm not going to go there because that was bad energy. That was a bad spirit to me. It was just something bad that wanted to upset my day. And their words in that text to me was a projection of something that was going on with them. They was having a challenging day. And whatever it is they were going through, they sent the text to me, right? Because I was having a good day. My day was beautiful. But as soon as they sent that text, I said, what is this? So I had to just think about it for a second. And, I prayed for the person and I replied, but I replied very nicely. And after that moment was over, I said, this is a teaching moment. This is a teaching. That was a teaching moment for me to learn about, for me to learn about what is a negative projection versus a positive projection. In my last podcast, I was talking about when someone projects something negative toward you, that person could be already in a bad mood. That person might already have a bad attitude. And so what they do is they'll come to you and spill out all the negativity. And then next thing you know, you're feeling what they're feeling. That's a negative projection.
Yes.
When you recognize that someone is having a bad day or a challenging day, as I say, I don't believe in a bad day. I believe in challenging days, not a bad day. But when someone is having a challenging day and you recognize that they have a bad attitude or they're just not acting like themselves, show them some type of compassion. Show them some type of attention that would show them that you care. But don't be a victim of their negative projection. Do not be a victim of that, because what happens is when somebody projects something negative to you, you start to believe what they're saying is wrong with you, but it's nothing wrong with you. It's something wrong with them.
Yes.
Right? So you gotta be careful with that, because that day when that individual sent me that text, I was having a happy moment, a happy day, and out of nowhere they sent that text and I started thinking, wait a minute, what is this? And they started saying something was wrong with me. I said, nothing's wrong with me. They text me. I didn't text them. Right?
That's
so
right.
I don't want to tell you all the personal details of what was said because I don't want to put anybody on blast. But just in that moment, like I said, it was a teachable moment for me to understand that when somebody projects something negative to you, you don't have to accept the invitation. Throw it back at them. And when you throw it back at them, make sure you throw it back with compassion. Throw it back with compassion, because if that person is having a challenging day, it doesn't mean you have to fight fire with fire. Show them compassion and pray for them, or just say something to show them that you care. That person that sent me the text, like I said, I prayed for them, and that was the end of it. And I just hope that they learned something from what they did. We have to do better. We can't do things to people and just act like, oh, well, I am who I am. No, we all have to be responsible for the things we say and the things we do to one another, because we should be in a position to help each other to be better, not worse, right?
Yes. Can I add to that?
Go ahead.
You know, I love, oh, I just appreciate this very much. I love how you said, you know, don't accept that negative, you know, projection,
Mm-hmm.
but to throw back compassion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's sometimes it's easier said than done, because, you know, you could have responded in that type of, what?
Yes.
What, you know, what's going on with you?
Right.
Now, I have to say, I'm not always perfect in that area. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, but I do have to say this, and it goes right back to why I pray.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Why I pray. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe nobody out there has this problem, but I need to pray sometimes for me.
Oh,
Okay.
yes. Oh, yes.
That I'm not too quick to talk, not too quick to act.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, when somebody is having that type of day, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's okay. You know, reverse what you normally do,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Reverse. You know, normally you would say, now what's your problem? You know, it's such a beautiful day and life is so good. Why are you so miserable, right?
Right.
So instead of saying that,
That's
you
right.
know, because hey, I'm guilty of it.
That's right.
I am very guilty of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have a problem saying it. But I have learned to say, okay, Lord, I shouldn't have said that.
That's right.
I made things worse.
That's right.
You know, so how about if I say, I'm sorry. Hey, I love you.
Or
You know,
are you okay?
You know what? Let's not cook today. Let's get Chinese food.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, I'm just saying, sometimes you got to switch things up,
Mm-hmm.
switch things around. And those are areas that I wanted to say,
Yeah.
you know, the SB, you said, you know, prayer and projection, right? It
Mm-hmm.
kind of goes hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I just want to add one thing,
Mm-hmm.
you know, for those, you know, parents or siblings or friends, you know, that are grieving over a death one, you know, I know people say, well, you know, but if you pray to God, what's the sense of praying to God when He's not going to do what you ask Him anyway, right? You know, and we hear that, right? So all of a sudden we think that way. So now we have a negative projection, right?
Right.
So, well, why should I bother to pray? Because He's not going to do what I ask Him to do anyway, right? Well, you know, there is a verse out there that does say that, you know, if you take delight in God and take delight in prayer, right, that He will give you, you know, whatever you want. But I just want to say something, you know, God may not choose to do what you ask Him when you ask Him to do it. And there will be seasons in our lives when, you know, He may say not yet. He might say no. He might say yes. But the end of the day is one thing about prayer is that it begins to shape your heart and your thoughts. And it kind of begins to shape you into His desires. And when he begins to do that, you begin to now want what He desires. And things began to change, and you begin to see how God does things in mysterious ways. But regardless, He always will work out all things for good for those that love the Lord. So I don't want anybody to get discouraged about praying when they say, well, you know, why did God allow my son or my friend or my daughter or my spouse to die? I just want to just say that, you know, God has a reason, and there's comfort in prayer, and let's not lose that sight.
Well, you know, first of all, when it comes to that side of things, I'm going to tell you this. We don't know everything. And we were not created to know everything. We were created to understand the one that created everything. And the key factor of living this life is to learn of Him. So when something happens and is not in our favor, it doesn't mean that God is against you. It doesn't mean that He wants you to just be all messed up. It simply means that there is something to learn. There is a plan in motion. And in that plan, we are not the architect of it. God is. And, you know, sadly, through pride, man thinks that he controls everything, but he doesn't. And we can't just wave a magic wand and just tell God what to do and he's supposed to just do it. It doesn't work like that. When you think about someone that is a king, when you think about someone that is a God, someone that is high and lifted up, God does not have to comply to us. We have to comply to him. So when we don't get our way and things don't work the way we think it should work, we still have to understand and come to the reality of the fact that he is God. He is God. He is the one that has given you breath in your lungs. He is the one, not your check, not your bank card. Nothing you have has given you breath in your lungs. He gave that to you. So when it comes to all these different things in our life that are happening, things that we don't understand, things that are happening even as we speak, we would like for certain things to change. It doesn't mean that God is against us and he doesn't want us to have the best. We have to learn of him and we have to learn about what living this life is all about. All of us are students. Some people don't want to receive that. If you're living this life on any level, we're students. We're supposed to be students to learning about who God is. That's our position in life. Aside from having fun and getting our little wine or whatever we do, our little dance and our little parties or whatever we do, we're supposed to be learning about life. We're not supposed to be getting up each day, going to work, making money, and just, feeding the kids and taking vacations and not learning about life, not learning about who God is. What is that? That's just existing. That's just existing. There's no purpose it's nothing. Look, don't get me wrong. It's nothing wrong with enjoying your life and having a good time. But the point of living is learning. That is the point of living. And please, if you remember nothing about this episode of this podcast, remember this one thing. The purpose of living is learning. That's your purpose, to learn. So I'm going to back up now, Rebecca, because I start getting real passionate. You know how I get when I
love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And learning.
Yes,
learning. And we learn, and listen, and we learn how to pray. We learn how to project differently. Okay? And all this right here is we learn how to trust God. Prayer helps us to trust God. Projecting in a positive way teaches us to trust God, to look at the negative situation and say, no, not today. I'm going to trust God today. I'm going to learn to trust God today so I can learn to project things in a more positive way for my life.
Exactly. And it's not something that you just wake up and learn how to do. It's a process of walking it out, taking one day at a time to accept your situations and circumstances for what they are, the reality of it, but understanding that it has the power to change. When you pray, your situation or circumstance has the power to change. When you pray, your situation or circumstance is subject to change. It's subject to change. It's not easy to go through something and see something just go through this long process of not changing. But guess what happens when you have to wait for something to change? Guess what happens? You change. You gain strength. You gain more grace in your life. You gain more peace. Your relationships can change. I mean, look at what happened during this whole pandemic. People had to stay home and spend time with their family members they never spent time with before. I believe that during this pandemic, God was bringing families together. That's what I believe.
I believe that too, Leslie.
Yeah. It was a bad thing. It's a bad thing that was going on. That is going on. Sadly, it's still going on. It's a bad thing, but in the process of all the bad, God is still doing something good. That's why I always say this pandemic is an opportunity for you to have the advantage to learn something about God so that you can see something about him that you've never seen before. So I don't want to keep going on and on because I'm going to tell you, when I start talking about this type of topic, I become very passionate because I just truly believe that we can do better and God can help us to do better. This is an inspirational podcast. My motive and intention is to inspire you, encourage you, and motivate you to be better. That is our intention. So me and Rebecca, we get together and we discuss these topics, hoping, praying, and believing that what we are sharing with you can inspire you to do something you've never done before, so that you can be something you've never done before, and so that you can just have a quality filled life. That's the purpose and intent of this podcast. I'm speaking kind of fast because you know what? I get so excited, Rebecca.
Well, I do too, and you know, I enjoy listening to you because you know what you say just goes deep into my soul and in my spirit, and it gives me joy and it gives me hope.
Amen. Amen. We all need hope.
It really does.
We all need hope, because it's not easy, but it's possible. It's not easy, but it's possible. Think about that. It is possible. It may not feel good, but it is possible that it will get better. It may not look good, but it is possible. Think about that for a second. It's possible. I personally have certain things. I'm not going to get into details, but I have certain things going on in my life right now. I told you, Rebecca, about my mother, and I've been concerned about certain things, but you know what? God is God. He is God. Well, I'm breathing right now air that I did not sign up for or pay for. This is His air in my body. Yes. So I have to believe and trust that my mother is going to be okay. All of my concerns are going to be well. That my child is going to be well. That all of my concerns are going to be perfected. Yes. And during this pandemic, we have to believe that it's going to get better. We have to believe that tonight when we get the results, it's going to be better. We're going to have hope. We have to believe that. We have to. We can't be dragged by despair. You know, I don't really get on this podcast and talk about a lot of religious things. We talk about spiritual things. But every time you mention God, some people, they connect the two. So I just had to throw that out there. We're talking about prayer because, like I said, we want you to be encouraged, inspired, understand the benefits of prayer. You can't go wrong. Every day you wake up, before you go to sleep, if you're in the shower, walking down the street, driving your car, walking your dog, I don't care where you are. Pray. That's all I have to say, Rebecca.
That's beautiful. That's right. That's right. Pray.
Yes.
And a positive projection, is like an inner bonding, right?
Yes.
You have to love yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta love yourself so you can love others.
That's right.
When you feel positive about yourself, you're gonna feel positive towards others. See, I want to project God's image in others.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And we need to start saying, okay, it matters to God what we think about ourselves.
Yes.
It's important to God because God made us. He created each and every one of us. Like SB just said, the air I breathe, I didn't pay for.
That's right.
It's true. Right?
Mm-hmm.
This body that we have, yes, we have the DNA of our mother, our father, right? We know all that. We were in our mother's womb for 9 months,
mm-hmm.
or whatever. Okay, we know that. Okay, but who gave us life? Who? God did.
That's right.
Okay? So in order for us to walk this walk, and be positive and see God's image in others and see the good things and know that good things are coming in regards to whatever we're confronting.
Mm-hmm.
We will be able to achieve those things with a personal relationship, a communication, which is a experience that's personal, that you get through prayer. That's all I got to say. It's a
Yeah,
wrap.
yeah. I mean, just stay encouraged in these times that we're living in. Stay encouraged, stay motivated. Make sure you journal if you need to sort out your feelings and your thoughts. Make sure you pray. Make sure you keep your focus. Make sure you shift those thoughts in the direction they need to be, and live a quality filled life at all costs. And just make sure that you keep the hope that you have. Anything that you know about God, make sure that you keep the hope that you have, because we are living in some serious times. And I thank you so much for taking the time to tune in to SB Favorite Thinking Podcast. And I will be praying for you listeners, because it is election day and we are going to have another result. Jesus. It's going to be another result tonight. And I'm just praying that everybody be safe, and just keep praying. And if you need to reach me, you can reach me at sbfavor@yahoo.com via email. You can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I also have a YouTube channel at sbfavor. Please subscribe to my channel, click like, and leave me a comment. If you leave me a negative comment, I'm going to ignore you, because that is my rule. Thank you so much for listening. And Rebecca, say bye to the people.
Bye, everybody. You have a wonderful night, and just keep pushing.
Keep pushing. Thank you so much for listening. Have a good day.